Hey everybody, it's Andy. Welcome back to my show where I help you build a career you love. Today we're going to talk about how to manage your energy, not time. How to manage your energy, not time. Actually, time's going to keep moving on, but I'm going to talk with you about how to look at your day, become productive by focusing on your energy versus time. So I got a lot to share with you today, and I get asked a lot. I know you guys, I know I get a lot of very nice compliments from you guys on the videos, on the live shows about how do you have so much energy, but pretty much everybody who interacts with me says, where do you get it all? Now, I'm not going to lie. I mean, a lot goes into this as far as energy and why I can maintain such a high level, and it does have to do with my diet, my sleep, my exercise, meditating, my relationships. Everything goes into this. But a big part of this is something that I do in the way in which I plan my day, my life, and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And I want to warm this up with a couple of things. Now, yesterday, for those of you that were here on my little 3-day bonanza here, where I talked about how to find your gift, it certainly makes a difference if you're doing things that you love, which I do. But even if you are sharing your gift with the world at its highest level, you're still going to run out of steam if you're not doing things effectively and you're not planning the right way and allocating your time and your energy the right way. So anybody, even if you're working your gift, it still can happen where you get zapped. And even if you're not working your gift, you can still maintain a very high level of energy. So I want you to know that, and I also want to acknowledge that we all have different types of jobs. Some people, they do the same thing over and over throughout the day. Other people, they do one thing after another each day. Some people, they have a little more freedom. The boss says, here's your 8 things, just get them done today. In which case, you have your list of things that somebody gives you, but you have a little bit of time, freedom related to your time and how you can plan them. And some people have complete calendar control that controls what goes on their calendar. That's somebody like me. I can decide as a business owner what goes on my calendar each day. But I think this tip will help anybody, no matter who you are. So let's talk about this. It has to do with the way I plan my day. So this talk is really going to be about your energy, about time, about your production, about planning and all that good stuff, so you can have high levels of energy and be productive each day. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about, and so we're going to run through about 5-6 points here, is no matter what you do, the activities that you have on any given day, when you think about them, just make a list. So step 1, just kind of make a list of the things that you do each day, each week, each month, whatever it might be. But I want you to think of them in terms of energy. So I want you to make a list of your activities, whatever it is. We'll do some case studies today about me, about you. Just make that list. And what I'm talking about in terms of energy is just very simply, what gives you energy, what depletes your energy, so what kind of the give, the take, and then there's kind of some things that we all do that are kind of neutral, a little bit mundane, doesn't really require a lot of brain power, doesn't really do anything for your zest, doesn't really kick in or anything of that nature. But just think about them. Maybe even, you can use, kind of a G, a T, an N. You could do whatever symbol you want. I just want you to know, does it give you energy? Does it take energy away from you? Maybe think in terms of, does it require a lot of energy from me, even though I love it? I have a lot of those on my daily calendar. That's the first thing I want you to do. Second thing I want you to do, once you got your list, is I want you to think about time. I want you to think about on any given, we'll call it a work day, right? Any given work day, you work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 7 to 7, whatever it is. Throughout those days, do you have more energy at 8 o'clock in the morning? Is it 11 o'clock in the morning? Some people take a little time to get going. So think about where you have the highest level of energy, where you have the lowest level of energy. Think about those times where you refill your energy. There's many different ways to kind of get your energy going again. Some people like the lunchtime yoga class. Some people like the lunchtime run. I got 30 stairs in my house. I go up and down those things anytime I want, whenever I need a little jolt. So there's times where you can actually refill your energy as well. Just make sure that you think about your day in terms of where your energy level is the highest, the lowest, and where you refill it. All right, now the third thing that I want you to do. Now I'm going to mention my Career Accelerator program for just a quick second. Don't get bummed out of me. I have a Career Accelerator program, and as a big part of that Career Accelerator program, I teach all the organizational tactics that I go through to run my business, to run my day. And in that program, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why I mentioned that program, but for those of you that are in the program and they've got access to this, I go through all my organizational tactics. In sharing my tactics with them, I also share the fact that I run my life, my work life, through various lists. I have some killer lists. One is a master list, so I create a list of all my projects. The other thing is my monthly list, so all the things that need to be done that month. And then, I'm launching a new program. I'm revamping a marketing campaign that I might be running. There's some value I want to create. Maybe I want to have a special event for you, whatever it might be. So there's a monthly list, and then there's a weekly list, things that I need to make sure that I can get done within a given week. But one list I never make, and this is incredibly important, and I want you to hang with me on this one, is I never, ever put a daily to-do list together. And let me tell you why. Be open-minded here for a second, but follow me. I don't put a daily to-do list together because I feel like daily to-do lists are relatively ineffective from an overall production standpoint. Think about them. They tend to be long. They tend to have a lot of different types of to-dos on them. And most of those to-dos don't get done. And the short-term, I hate the air quote thing. I hate the air quote thing. But the short-term urgent stuff always supersedes or trumps the long-term more important stuff. Okay, I always say, I kind of joke, a daily to-do list is where the important but non-urgent activities go to die. It's like a graveyard. It's like a graveyard for them. So I don't put a daily to-do list together. Okay, just follow me on this. I don't put a daily to-do list together, but what do I do? So each evening, I have an idea, right? The weekly tasks, I know what has to happen on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, and so forth. The night before, what I do is I plan the next day, all right? And I want you to plan the next day, but I want you to basically plan the day into the calendar. I don't care. I use a journal with a calendar in it, and I take my electronic stuff and I move it into the written planner, but I plan my hours based on my energy. So I think about what activities that I have that I need to do tomorrow, so kind of like your to-dos, but on that day, well, I want to take the ones that require the most energy, maybe the most creativity and so forth, and put those in the high energy times. For me, that happens to be the morning, the earlier hours in the morning. So then I want you to allocate, to the extent that you have the freedom, allocate your activities into the slots respectively. So the high energy activities go into the high energy slots. The refills go in the refills, and so on. Okay? So I want to make sure that you get that. So I want you to put them into your calendar. Then write out your calendar. I don't care how you do it. For me, there's a special connection between handwriting it in, and I make sure that my calendar has absolutely zero empty space in it. That's not over committing. It's not over planning. I just make sure that all minutes of the day are accounted for. Now, there's no empty space, but there is a little emptiness in the calendar. If I need a 10-minute break or a 5-minute break, I have a notation there that that's a time where I need to stop what I'm doing or I need to transition. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a second. But the more you can complete the calendar, your time calendar, based on your activities, according to the energy and what they do to that energy, the more effective you'll be. Then what I want you to do, is work the calendar, not your to-do list. Work the calendar. Okay? Work the calendar. Make sure you go through your day And as you kind of work through your calendar, think about each activity. As you go through that calendar, your goals, your tasks, your to-dos, and so forth should be allocated in the time slot that you need to do them. And work your calendar. It was proactively planned. It was thought in advance. You have the activities allocated to when you are mostly in tune with doing them. Your energy levels are high, or if you're a little depleted, you could do a little bit more of the mundane stuff. But work the calendar, not the list. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to give you a little bit of a kind of a case study on my life, and then I also want to give you a little case study on what I think some of you guys are going through. Hang on, I got to take a little sip of my actually homemade Intelligentsia Black Cat Espresso Latte that I just made. And no, this is not why I have so much energy. Okay, so each day, I'm gonna talk philosophically, then I want to get down to brass tacks. Each day as I plan my day, and I know a lot of you are like me, you have freedom and you've got projects and they usually take a period of time, so not everything gets done in a singular day. I think about basically like 3 things that I always need to make sure that I take into account as I'm allocating my activities throughout the day. First thing about the way I look at my day is I have a lot of different aspects of my business, and I'll share some of those with you here in a minute. But because there are so many different things that I need to do, on the one hand, that makes planning more difficult, but on the other hand, it gives me variety because I actually hit all aspects of my business every single day. So I work some short-term stuff, I work some long-term stuff, and I work different types of stuff. The variety helps keep me fresh. That's good. But the other thing, and this is especially important for those of you who have projects that are more than a week long or months long, okay? So if I'm hitting different projects that I'm working that take a lengthy period of time, that could be a month, it could be multiple months, it could be multiple weeks. If I'm touching them each day, what's actually happening as well is I'm continuing my momentum. And I'm never having to restart. If I do something today on a Tuesday and I don't touch it again until next Tuesday, what happens? I have to spend that portion of that hour, maybe a half an hour, trying to figure out where I was. I never have that problem. The other thing is my creative juices carry from day to day, sleep to sleep. And what happens is sometimes I start to create something for you guys, and then as I start to build it, as time goes on and as I marinate, as my friend Laura likes to call it, what happens is I think of a different way to explain it. In fact, this talk today, I completely rewrote late last night because I didn't like the way I had it set up previously. But on it went. So what happens is that variety is helpful. The fact that I'm hitting a little bit each day is helpful. The fact that my creative juices are compounding is helpful. And one of the things that really drains our energy and drains our productivity is when we have to restart something again. And we're burning a lot of time because we're restarting something. Even in a given day, that happens. But imagine what happens to your restart time when you're doing things and you're not touching them for a couple days or weeks. So that's one element. Now, as I get into my day, I have different things that I do. And let's share some of the things that you know I do. Well, I obviously create content for you. There's videos that I write for you. There's lessons I put together. All that stuff is great. There's training programs I have to design and build and either shoot or conduct live. There's email copywriting. Sometimes I'm creating a story for you. I'm just giving you value. Other times I'm sending you a message about a webinar, or I might be sending you a message about an offering that I'm creating that you can enroll in. I do things like that, right? I have people I coach, so I need to talk to them, sometimes in person, sometimes through a Zoom session. I have people I recruit. So there are different things to my business. So what I do is I realize that early in the morning is my most creative time, and it's when I'm fresh. And when I say early in my morning, when I start my workday, I'm already up for 3.5 hours or 4 hours almost. So my 0 minute, I'm already up. So I'm rolling. I've gone through my exercise, my meditation, all that good stuff. But that's when I'm most creative. So then I work through all my creation in the morning. I love it. I'm the most creative. Why do you think we do live office hours at 11 a.m. my time? I spent this morning creating some stuff, okay, that we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks. But now I'm here with you. This is a recharge. This is super fun for me. I'm going to go grab a little lunch. I got afternoon recruitment calls that I've got to make and some interviews that I'm going to be doing. So that's how I optimize my day, because I need my creative juices in the morning. In the afternoon, not that I'm not creative in the afternoon, but after lunch and I've got a little pick-me-up and now I'm a little alert. I'm not hungry anymore. Now when I'm talking with people, that gives me energy. I just love helping people. There's almost nothing I love more than doing a coaching session with one of my boot campers. I mean, it is totally fun for me. I love it. We bounce off each other. We've got camaraderie. There's things that I know I'm feeling good because I'm serving. All of that makes me feel good. So all of that contributes to my energy level. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, let's give you, okay, now some of you are working, right? Some of you got your new jobs. I know that. You've been thanking me all week. And now you can look at the activities you have and think about how you'd allocate your stuff. But what about you job seekers out there? I know a bunch of you guys and gals are in between work. Well, guess what? I got news for you. Your job search is just like my job, right? You got to write that resume. Now, while you probably do it, once and it's a big effort, well, that's my morning time, right? You got cover letters and emails to write. That's your email copywriting. That could be done in the morning. Then maybe, you take a little break. Maybe after lunch, you start planning your networking. Maybe you're doing some networking in the afternoon. Maybe later in the day, you want to do some company researching and some Googling and some surfing, because it doesn't take as much energy to do that and you're just kind of glossing through, right? Make your company list, come back the next day, start fresh, look at it, figure out how you want to contact them, what you'd write to those companies, and so on. That's what I'm talking about. So you should allocate your day and your job search activities accordingly. So that's just a kind of an idea to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about in the way in which you're allocating, your time for your job, whether you're a job seeker or whether you're working whether you're working your job. Now, I want to kind of wrap this discussion a little bit, because there's a few more things I want to make mention of as it relates to energy and planning. So now that you have a nice calendar, to the extent that you can plan and align your activities based on giving energy, taking energy, refilling energy, and so on, then what I want you to think about is the advantage that planning your day the night before has. So you've planned your day the night before. You go into the next day, no stress in the morning about what is it that I need to do. What is it that I need to do? Because every time you have to think about what you need to do next, that's draining. That's stress. So if you know between 9 and 10 o'clock, you have time allocated to work this project, that task, that goal, whatever it is, better say, I got to be done 9:59, or actually 9:55 or 9:50. So that's helpful. That will reduce stress. The other thing that's incredibly important is your transitions. As you go from your 9 o'clock hour and you're going to go into your 10 o'clock hour, what we tend to do, doesn't matter who you are, me, you, I don't care if you love what you do, hate what you do. As you transition from one activity to the next, one phone call to the next, one meeting to the next, or going from email copywriting to a coaching session, makes no difference. If you do not take a moment, whether it's a minute, I would suggest 10, but if you can squeeze 5, that's golden, to just refresh yourself. You need to let go of what just happened. You truly need to, even if it was awesome. And then refresh, recalibrate, and head into the new thing with some momentum. So when I go from copywriting at whatever to something else, to delivering this, to going to lunch, to going to my 2 o'clock coaching session, at 1:50, 1:55, I'm thinking about the person who I need to speak with. What are they going through? What do they need from me? And so forth. I'm already getting in the mode, even though I'm, kind of recharging myself, but I'm just collecting myself. I'm letting go of whatever stress I had, and I'm going in as fresh as I can be into whatever activity that I'm going into. That's incredibly important, because we accumulate that stress throughout the day, no matter who we are. And then if you work the calendar if you work the calendar, so we talked about the transitions. If you work the calendar and you run through your day like that, your to-dos will get done. They will get done because they're identified where they're supposed to be. You're likely going to have more energy. You're going to be more productive. So just think about this. So let's just recap it very quickly. You want to think about everything that you do, and you don't want to just say, hey, I got to plow through it. Does it give me energy, take energy, refill energy, and so on? Where am I best? Allocate those times, and then try to align to the extent that you can where those activities go. But regardless of how much calendar control you have, always be thinking about making sure you've got a plan for the next day, and then as you work the plan, those to-dos will drop off. And the other thing is you want to make sure that as you transition, you're giving yourself a break, you're collecting yourself, you're blowing out the steam, and you're moving into the next activity a little bit fresher. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about as far as how I can maintain my energy level. There's a lot of other things that go into it, but I really think that just thinking about your activities in those terms is going to go a long way in helping you. So I hope that serves you.